All right, we're going to talk about 2-5-1 progressions in composite minor. Now, I've said this about 1,000 times to my own students. Chords come from scales, and so when when I see a 2-5-1, for instance, underneath each of those chords, I can clearly see that I'm all of those chords are diatonic because they are each derived directly diatonically from the C major scale. So we're just using the notes that are in the C major scale, and we're coming up with the harmonization of that scale, right? And that's all there is to it. So that's why the scale of C major is present in every one of those chords, right? Sure, you can. It's a good idea to emphasize the notes of the chord when you're playing the chord, but I think I would say it's even more important to know where the chord is derived from. Okay. Now, today we're going to talk about 2-5-1s in composite minor. And so when I say composite, I mean that we're going to be looking at the scale of C major, because chords come from scales, and the chords of the scale of C minor and related chords. So, major, minor, okay? You can hear that they're sort of closely related. And even though it doesn't, it's sort of counterintuitive to think that major and minor are closely related, but we hear the root. When we look at these in parallel, we hear that root so strongly. Major, minor. So, when I play a chord like this, D minor 7 flat 5, and let's say I go to the G7 with a flat 9, where do they come from? All right. The D minor 7 flat 5, in fact, is diatonic to the scale of C minor. And so is the G7 with a flat 9, with the exception of that 3. A tune like Night and Day uses 2. So as you can hear, it starts with a 2 from the minor key, and then to the 5 from with that flat 9, and resolves to major. So that's an example of a tune that's clearly major and minor right off the top. Okay, now if we're thinking in C minor, let's think of the relative major of C minor, which is E flat, right? So C minor shares all the notes relatively of E flat. And the 5 chord to E flat is B flat 7, right? B flat 7. And the 2 chord in E flat is F minor the 5 chord is B flat 7, and the 1 chord is C, as the 1 chord is E flat major, right? What happens if I take that 2 chord and the 5 chord and resolve to the, right, or 2, F minor, B flat 7, resolve to the major. Isn't that pretty? Have you ever wondered where that B flat came from when, in tunes where I've heard it called stupid names. It's the dominant that belongs in the related minor key, right? That's the parallel minor key. Okay, so now if I'm doing 2 5 1s, we obviously, I showed you that we have the minor 7 flat 5, and I could do this 13 with a flat 9, but that flat 9's not just an alteration. That flat 9 is a parallel minor manifestation, harmonic manifestation, right? So minor 7 flat 5, and you can just hear. And then the G, the 7 with the flat 9. There's my raised 3 that's in that G7. And I could go to minor, or I could go to major, right? Now, how about if I use the I find that B flat 7 to it's a softer resolution. I won't go into the voice leading, but it's a softer, very interesting and lovely resolution. See, B flat 7. Where'd that B flat 7 come from in the key of C major? It came from the parallel minor, right? And the same goes for the 4 minor chord, right? There's cowboy songs, all sorts of them. Right? Roy Orbison did a whole bunch of really cool tunes back in the day, and he used to use that 4 minor over and over again because it has such a lovely voice movement. Listen. And that's what we're talking about here. Same, you can hear that movement, right? That D minor 7 flat 5 has the same note moving. It's got that same thing that we had here. See, get the idea how closely they're related. All right. So there are all sorts of really interesting things that you can do with parallel minor ideas, and I don't want to go too far in this study of harmony. But if you start to put it together with some other things that we've already talked about, for instance, tritone substitutions, you end up with a D minor 7 flat 5. At D flat and a C major and a D flat 7 raised 9, and then maybe listen to that voice movement. That is a 2-5-1 progression, right? 2. Let's call this more 251, right? Borrowed that B flat 7 from the relative major of E flat, or you know, if you want to look at it that way. I could go on and on and on. Right, you can connect all over the fretboard that way, and so I'm going to stop there, because there's a ton to think about. No, I can't stop there. So this would be diatonic, D minor 7. So that means that this C major scale is going to work, right? If I go to the D minor 7 flat 5, the C major is no longer going to work unless I alter it in some weird way, or I play minor. And then if I do just Mixolydian, right? And then resolve, right? And so in fact, I'm going from C minor, because the chord of D minor 7 flat 5 comes from D minor, C minor, right? And then when I go to the tritone substitution, which we covered in the previous video, I play the Mixolydian over that, and then I'm back to the C major. Extrapolate that, you know, all over the fretboard, you know, tritone substitution, right? And you can also get some pretty cool stuff happening. These minor 7 flat 5 chords move very similar to what a diminished chord moves like. Okay, but that's another topic. Okay, so that's 251's parallel composite major minor key. And the chords that come out of that key, you will see that happening over and over and over again. Like, right? So it starts right away with a two out of the D minor, right? So as soon as you see those minor 7 flat 5 chords, or flat 9 chords, they're indicating beep beep beep. This comes from the parallel minor scale. Okay, I hope that was a help to you, and I'm going to do one more after this composite minor and diatonic and tritone substitution turnarounds down from the 3. Okay, I'm sure I'll get a lot of views on that. I'll just make that my heading, right? Okay. Well, that was fun. Thanks for sticking around for this. I hope you got something out of that, and we'll see you real soon.